Hey everyone, Nick here and welcome back to GamerTube, and welcome back to our Poppy Playtime character concept series. So in today's video, the character we're looking into is Nessie the Nesting Doll. So we'll go into this character's backstory, gameplay mechanics, and all that good stuff as well. But before we do any of that, do be sure to leave a like and subscribe to GamerTube as it helps a lot and it's greatly appreciated. But alrighty, without further delay, let's get into the character concept of Nessie the Nesting Doll. So throughout our Poppy Playtime character concept series, we've been following the main protagonist as they try to escape the Playtime Cove factory. Throughout their journey, we've seen countless toy horrors that they've had to endure. As much as they move forward, there's always something new and frightening waiting around the next corner. It seems like the Playtime Cove factory is never ending, and with a factory of this size and scale, surely they are the only one who's in danger at Playtime Cove. Well, it turns out they'd be right. In fact, there's another character who's in the exact same boat, and their very own journey has been taking place elsewhere in the factory. All the evil toy characters are out to get them as well, and they've been trying to desperately escape Playtime Cove. So far, they haven't been so lucky, but hopefully that all changes today. Now, let's meet this other character at the factory. So our new protagonist is named Crashbot. Crashbot is a special toy that was created for one purpose. His job was that of the crash test dummy here at the Playtime Cove factory. Multiple times a day, he'd be put through many different trials to test out the safety of the company's products. Crashbot has been dropped, crushed, burned, electrocuted, submerged, stretched, and pretty much anything else you could think of. But every single time, he'd be put back together and get ready to go again. For as long as he could remember, this is what he was designed for. It was his job to ensure that all the new products were safe enough to be sold to children all over the world. And regardless of how much punishment he endured, it would all be worth it in the end. But soon enough, everything would change for poor Crashbot. One day, whilst getting rebuilt, his repair technician entrusted him with a very important task. They uploaded all the video evidence that would incriminate Playtime Cove for all the cruel procedures they have done over the years. The evidence would be safely stored inside Crashbot until the time was right to reveal it to the public. Finally, Playtime Cove would answer for all the crimes they've committed, but sadly, that day never came. Moments later, after all this data was given to Crashbot, the hour of joy had already commenced. All the workers and the repair technician didn't survive the attack. Now Crashbot was left here all alone. Soon enough, the prototype caught wind of what was going on. They instructed all the toys to find Crashbot and destroy him. The prototype couldn't risk the truth getting out and the outside world interfering with their plans. So now Crashbot is on the run and needs to escape the factory. Luckily, they were able to get past Huggy Wuggy, Mummy Longlegs, and all the other toys. But regardless how many times Crashbot would get away, the prototype continues to send these twisted toys out to get him. And the next character they send will surely get the job done. So the next evil toy is known as Nessie the Nesting Doll. She was designed after the traditional dolls that have been made throughout history, and just like these special dolls, she housed many smaller copies of herself inside her hollow shell. With these multiple versions of her, there was nowhere Crashbot could hide, and if one of them were to find him, then they would all know where he is. But he would soon discover that all these dolls are much deadlier than they appear. So now we return back to Crashbot. He's still trying to find his way out of the factory so he can complete the mission that was given to him. And this would be a lot easier if he had full access to all of his abilities. Apart from being a crash test dummy, he also had many other uses. Crashbot's hands could transform into multiple different tools and accessories, but these features were deactivated by the other workers. Hopefully, as he moves through the factory, he'll be able to unlock all these lost abilities. For now, the only one that he has is the key hand that can open doors. This is definitely helpful, but it won't really do much when faced with an enemy toy. And speaking of, Crashbot gets his first glimpse at Nessie the Nesting Doll. He can see her off in the distance and it looks like she's just standing there. Then suddenly her body opens up and multiple smaller versions start popping out of her shell. The multiple versions spread out and start looking for Crashbot. He'll have to stay down and quietly sneak forward. There's a large exit close by and he should be able to get away if he's careful. He'd just have to hide whenever one of these nesting dolls would poke their heads out around a corner. If one of them spots him, then it would all be over. So little by little, Crashbot sneaks forward towards the exit. He was doing good until he was suddenly spotted. One of the nesting dolls jumps up right in front of him, and before he can get away, it lets out a large squeal. It shakes so violently that its head breaks open, revealing a strange mass of tentacles. All throughout this area, each of the dolls erupt and do the same thing. Whatever these creepy dolls were, it was like they were calling out to someone. And that someone was Nessie. Right before him stood the real version of Nessie the nesting doll. Her body is transformed into a deadly mass of teeth, and on either side were two strange legs that erupted out of her empty shell. Crashbot quickly makes a break for the exit before she devours him whole. He quickly runs down a corridor, and Nessie and her children quickly follow after. Now the chase was on. The player would have to quickly navigate through each corridor and make sure not to get eaten. Along the way, Nessie's children would smash through air vents and try to grab Crashbot. There would be multiple doors that he could quickly unlock and shut behind him. This would slow down Nessie and her children for a little bit. Finally, Crashbot would reach the exit. He uses his special key hand to activate the door, but it would take some time before this door would open. At this moment, Nessie and the rest would eventually catch up to him. The door hasn't opened yet, and he'll have to buy some time. So the player would need to constantly move around this small area and keep looping around Nessie. Eventually the door would open and he would make his escape. In this area on the floor were some holes that were boarded up. Each hole on the floor was a different size. If Crashbot could lure each different nesting doll over a different hole, then surely they would fall through and get stuck. And sure enough, one by one, each different sized doll would stumble over the loosely boarded up hole and crash through down to the bottom. Eventually it was down to Crashbot and Nessie. The door had finally unlocked and now opened. Crashbot rushes through as Nessie charges after. Luckily at the last second, the blast door crashes down right on her body. It smashes her empty shell into multiple pieces. Finally, Crashbot was safe from this twisted toy creature. Now he just needs to continue making his way forward through the factory until he can find his way out. Hopefully he can complete his mission in telling the world the truth about this awful place. But something tells him that many more twisted toys would be waiting to stop him in his tracks. But as to if this will be the case, we'll just have to wait and see. So I think that Nessie the nesting doll would be a great character to add to our Poppy Playtime roster. The idea of a creepy looking doll that can multiply would be definitely a challenge for the player. They would need to do their best to hide from Nessie and her children and avoid them at all costs, because if they failed to do so, then it would all be over. Alrighty everyone, well that's all we have for today's video. I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, please consider leaving a like, commenting and subscribing, as it helps a lot and it's greatly appreciated. As always, let me know in the comment section down below what you thought of Nessie the nesting doll and what you'd like to see going forward. And as always, I'd just like to say a very big thank you for watching today's video, and an even bigger thank you to our GamerTube members. But okay everyone, until our next Poppy Playtime character concept video, I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.